I used to be able to focus for hours, even when I was busy or stressed. When I sat down to work, my focus would just show up. But somewhere along the way, that stopped. I could sit at my desk for hours, trying to work or learn, and nothing happened. And for a long time I thought I'd lost something fundamental. Until I realized something important. My focus didn't break. It was blocked before I even started. For a long time I wondered what was going on with me. After all, the ability to focus is something everyone had, right? At least, it was something I thought I had mastered a long time ago. But when I actually needed to focus for work, to write reports or review contracts for my projects, it suddenly became hard. I could focus a bit, but it was shallow, fragile, not the deep, calm focus I was used to, where hours of work felt easy. And because focus felt essential for anything I wanted to build or achieve, I assumed, as most of us do, that something was wrong with me. Maybe it was my discipline. Maybe I just needed to try harder. Maybe I was too distracted, social media, internet, all the usual side quests. Maybe it was something deeper. The way my brain worked, psychology or my attention span. So I started reading, researching, experimenting. I added tools, optimized my days. I tried to force my focus into existence. None of it worked. In fact, the harder I tried to fix myself, the worse it seemed to get. I got distracted more easily, it took longer to slip into focus. And when I did force it, it was too shallow to be useful for anything. It wasn't until I finally stepped back and looked at the bigger picture that I noticed something important. Something that's probably happening to you too. Every single explanation we are given about focus, every piece of advice, every diagnosis, every tool, they all assume focus fails during work. But what if the problem is that we never truly allow focus to start in the first place? The important thing to understand about focus is this. Focus is not a skill you perform. It's not a muscle you activate. And it's definitely not something you can force into existence with the effort, even if we do like trying that. Focus emerges naturally, but only under the right conditions. Your brain actually has a natural mode for deep focus, but for that mode to activate, it needs something very specific, temporary safety. It needs to know nothing else is needed from you right now. No sudden demands, no requested availability. No imminent interruptions. And this is where modern work and the modern world breaks focus before it ever truly begins. Most of the day your brain isn't truly distracted, it's in what I like to call a constant orientation mode. It's constantly scanning. It's constantly scanning, checking the context. What was this about? It's updating your mental status. Where you advising, coordinating, consulting. It's anticipating responses. What will people think and want of this? And it's staying available. Will anyone need you? Not because you're weak, but because that's exactly what our modern environments demand of us. You might not be actively checking your email, but part of your attention is reserved for the possibility that an email could arrive, a meeting could change, someone might need you. And that possibility alone is enough to block deep focus. Even if you stop checking, even if you silence notifications, your brain knows it's still not safe to truly focus. A perfect example of this happened to me recently. I planned a work from home day. I didn't have much to do. I was gonna finish a project management plan. Nothing special, but it did require deep focus. The only issue? A plumber was going to come out around lunchtime. He didn't show up until 4 in the afternoon. And that entire day I couldn't get into the flow. Not because I was distracted, but because I had to be available. An entire day wasted. My attention was permanently split, waiting for something that might happen. Understanding this is important. You never lost your ability to focus, and your focus didn't fail during the day. It just never got permission to start. And when you do try to force your focus in this state, all you get is exhaustion without the depth or the results that make focus valuable in the first place. So if your focus doesn't fail, and it doesn't, then the solution isn't more discipline, tools or anything trying to force more focus. It's to remove the blocks that are blocking your focus in the first place. And almost all of these blocks come down to one thing: availability. If your brain believes you are reachable, it will not allow deep focus. Not because it's broken, but because going deep would be irresponsible. So the goal is not total isolation, but brief, intentional unreachability. Focus begins the moment your brain believes nothing else needs me right now. That means two practical things. First, you need to close orientation before you start. Orientation mode keeps your brain scanning, checking context, anticipating responses and staying alert. Before you start focused work, you need to tell your brain everything that could need me is handled or postponed. That can be as simple as quickly checking your messages once, writing down your open concerns, or just deciding nothing else needs me in the coming hour. You're not solving everything, because that would literally be impossible. You're just closing the loops for the moment. Second, you need to make your unavailability visible, not just to others, but to your brain. Silence notifications, close communication tools, maybe go sit somewhere else. These aren't productivity tricks, they are signals of safety to your brain. Because the moment your brain truly believes I am not needed anywhere else right now, orientation stops, scanning stops, and focus doesn't need to be forced, but arrives naturally. Even short periods of this, 30, 60 minutes, can completely change how deep your work feels. Not because you work harder, but because you finally give your brain permission to focus, and that's where the magic is. When I stopped treating focus as a skill and started treating it as a condition, everything changed. When I needed to focus, I learned how to create the right conditions, and the work that actually mattered started moving again. And when I couldn't focus, I finally understood why. So instead of forcing it, I closed the loops that were stopping it, handled what needed handling, and stopped fighting my own brain. And ironically, that's what allowed my focus to return. Just like me, you didn't lose your ability to focus. You are not lazy or undisciplined. You are simply trying to focus in conditions that make it impossible. That's the good news. You don't need to fix yourself or change your life. When you need to focus, you just reduce your availability and stop orientating. And when these blockers are removed, focus will return naturally. Because it was there all along, waiting for the right conditions to emerge. And if you want to learn how your brain actually works, and how to build conditions where it works for you instead of against you, YouTube is recommending the video right here.